silence can be louder than rage, and right now, Kensington Palace is roaring with it. After years of explosive interviews, streaming deals, and tell-all memoirs, the House of Windsor has executed its coldest move yet. Meghan Markle has been cut off. No calls, no cards, not even a polite Merry Christmas. The Duchess, who once electrified the monarchy, now finds herself iced out by the very institution she shook. How did one BBC interview, one fragile recovery, and one furious future king fuse into the ultimate royal blackout? Stay with me, because the twist behind this freeze will leave you questioning whether forgiveness is still an option, or if the monarchy just wrote the final chapter on the Sussex saga. It took just 48 minutes on primetime TV for history to pivot. On May 2nd this year, Prince Harry sat across from the BBC's cameras, eyes glassy, voice heavy, pleading for reconciliation while lamenting a legal defeat over his personal security. In living rooms across Britain, viewers heard what sounded like an olive branch. Inside Kensington Palace, it played like the ultimate gut punch. William's inner circle describes the heir's reaction as Arctic calm, a calm that hides tectonic anger. Harry had promised to stop airing the family's dirty laundry. Instead, he unzipped an entire suitcase on national television. When the credits rolled, William reportedly looked at Catherine and simply said, "Enough." And with that single word, the future king locked the last door between his household and the Sussexes. Yet the decision wasn't born in a vacuum. The memory of Spare, Netflix confessions, and that Oprah sit-down still clung to the palace walls like smoke. Harry's BBC encore felt less like a plea and more like déjà vu, proof that the cycle would never end. For William, guardian of both his father's legacy and his wife's sanity, the calculus was brutal. Protect the crown, protect Catherine, or watch the monarchy drown in endless reruns of Windsor v. Sussex. He chose the former, without blinking. Catherine's journey from abdominal surgery in January 2024 to remission 9 months later reshaped William's priorities. The princess, who once lit up diplomatic banquets, had been forced to confront her own mortality. During chemo, she discovered a new definition of peace: quiet walks in the Lake District, campfire chats with scouts, mornings spent identifying birdsong instead of paparazzi shutters. Now, any reminder of stress, especially the kind wrapped in Sussex headlines, could jeopardize that hard-won calm. Palace aides noticed the shift almost immediately. If a briefing paper even hinted at Meghan's name, it was yanked. Conversation topics were vetted like state secrets. Staff joked that the quickest way to end a meeting was to whisper, "Archie." One look from William, and the syllable evaporated. This was no longer mere etiquette. It was triage. William's message to courtiers was stark. Catherine's mental bandwidth is sacred territory, and Meghan is an invading thought. Full stop. Behind closed doors, the Wales' 3 children saw a gentler, lighter mother emerging from illness. William vowed that nothing, least of all another headline war, would drag her back into anxiety. The prince's protective instinct, once reserved for physical bodyguards, had become psychological armor. Catherine, for her part, didn't plead for distance. She insisted on it. The emotional toll was too high, peace was priceless. And so the palace corridors fell eerily quiet whenever the Duchess from California was even remotely relevant. Royal biographer Angela Levin dubbed the tactic "starving the drama of oxygen," and the Waleses adopted it with military precision. No rebuttals, no leaked counter-narratives, just dignified nothingness. Publicly, this looked like restraint. Privately, it felt like an embargo. Staff received crisp memos. Meghan's name is off-limits in Catherine's presence, and discussion of Sussex ventures is best left to PR firewalls in Buckingham Palace, well away from Windsor. The brilliance and cruelty of the strategy is its simplicity. Meghan has long thrived on narrative control: blog posts, podcast confessions, magazine guest edits. Denied a reaction, her story becomes an echo chamber. Every new business logo, every social media comeback ricochets off royal stone walls without an answering clang. To the Duchess, who once cut her own father out for peace, the irony cuts like glass. The same technique now deployed against her by Britain's most powerful family. The silent treatment also solved a political dilemma. After the Oprah race allegations, William's impulsive "we're very much not a racist family" had been a rare slip. Proof that emotion, when voiced, can backfire. Zero engagement eliminates that risk. A family whose motto might as well be nulla commentis, no comment, returned to its roots, letting public fascination simmer unanswered. Yet outside the gates of Kensington, Meghan faced a different front line. Once celebrated as a crossover icon, suit star turned princess, Meghan found the Hollywood applause fading. The first tremor came when former British Vogue editor-in-chief Edward Enninful quietly severed ties. The two had once shared mint tea brainstorming sessions and lofty humanitarian visions. But the infamous 2022 cover shoot devolved into what insiders now label impossible demands. By May 2025, the friendship was as dead as last season's trends, with Page Six sources claiming a furious duchess blamed Enninful for the fallout. Then came the jam. Meghan's lifestyle brand, rechristened as ever after a snazzy Santa Barbara soft launch, tried to woo influencers with artisanal strawberry preserves. Social media, however, tasted something else: performative luxury. Consumers joked the jar's $35 price tag should include a free Spotify podcast. Worse, two small companies named as ever lawyered up over trademark confusion. A mayor in Spain even threatened action after spotting a palm tree and birds logo eerily similar to his town's coat of arms. The Duchess's pivot from duchy to domestic goddess was turning into an accidental comedy sketch. Friends in Hollywood whispered about cause fatigue. Meghan's brand once rode a tide of empowerment. Now executives feared that partnering meant inheriting royal baggage. Invitations to red carpet galas dropped from VIP to maybe. In an industry where perception is currency, the Duchess's balance sheet was bleeding. Meanwhile, the prince beside her was balancing on a wire. Harry's May BBC interview played like a one-man tug-of-war between nostalgia and new life. He spoke of missing the UK, mourning security protections, and fearing his father's dwindling time. But he also doubled down on past grievances, describing the palace as an establishment stitch-up. The result? Sympathy from some viewers, exasperation from most royals, and a glaring truth. Every public plea deepens the chasm he claims he wants to bridge. Yet the Wales' door isn't bolted shut, just fitted with conditions. Insiders say William could, in time, break bread with his brother if Harry stops monetizing grievances. That means no surprise documentaries, no passive-aggressive Netflix cameos, no memoir sequels. The ultimatum is ruthless, but clear. Choose family or choose the spotlight, because both is no longer an option. Harry's predicament is Shakespearean. His identity and his bankability now intertwine with telling his truth. Pivoting to silence might feel like erasing the very purpose that led him to California, but the longer he waits, the more entrenched the royal freeze becomes. William's patience, always thinner than Charles's, has already iced over. If the prince wants reconciliation, he'll have to thaw it with actions, not airtime. And if Harry falters, the monarchy still marches on. King Charles's 2024 cancer diagnosis jolted the line of succession into sharp relief. While the monarch continues light duties, and even embarked on a tightly scripted Canada tour this week, court observers note William's rising influence. The heir is quietly assuming protector status, acting as firewall and strategist while his father focuses on health. That realignment leaves little appetite for family drama. William views every tabloid frenzy as a security flaw in the institution's armor, and Meghan, fair or not, is now coded as the vulnerability to patch. It's also about precedent. Allow one rogue duchess to dictate headlines, and future heirs may face the same playbook. So William is setting an example. Cut the oxygen, present a united front, and remind Britain that the crown is sturdier than any individual storyline. In other words, leadership through cold resolve, an echo of his grandmother's stoic philosophy, updated for the algorithm era. Yet while the palace cements strategy, Meghan crafts her own. New Year's Day 2025. Meghan sprinted down a California beach in head-to-toe white, filmed by Harry scrawling 2025 in the sand for a triumphant Instagram return. The post racked up millions of likes and millions of critiques. Commenters hailed the cinematography, then asked why the Duchess, who said social media was an addiction, was back on the grid. Days later, a Fast Company chat saw her admit to guilt over newfound wealth, sparking headlines that read less like empathy and more like humble brag. Meanwhile, as ever's jam jars became late-night punchlines. Trademark roadblocks piled up, and Spanish officials hinted at legal mischief over her hummingbird logo. Each hiccup fueled the perception of chaos. Even loyal Sussex squad fans felt whiplash. Humanitarian documentary one week, strawberry spread the next. The brand's message, "Everything starts in the home," felt at odds with lawsuits abroad. In royal circles, the irony wasn't lost. Meghan's quest to define her own narrative kept colliding with stories she couldn't control. As revenue models shifted from Hollywood deals to lifestyle products, critics asked whether the Duchess was trading crowns for coupons. And with every PR stumble, William's zero-engagement gambit looked less cruel and more calculated. Which leads us to the crossroads ahead. Scenario 1, quiet reinvention. Harry scales back media ventures. Meghan pivots as ever toward charitable micro-projects instead of glossy launches, and private dialogues, mediated by seasoned courtiers, open behind closed doors. It's a long shot, but history shows royals can forgive when public fury cools. Elizabeth and Philip forgave uncles, aunts, even traitorous cousins. Yet this path demands radio silence from the Sussexes, and so far they've thrived on speakerphone. Scenario 2, permanent parallel monarchy. The Sussex brand doubles down on visibility. Children's books, clothing lines, docuseries exploring activism from Malibu to Mumbai. William's palace remains mute, Catherine steers clear, and the Atlantic Ocean widens into a moat. Biographers cash in, fans pick sides. The monarchy survives, but the brothers never reconcile. Public sentiment already tilts towards scenario 2. Polls in both the UK and the Commonwealth show fatigue with royal reality TV, even as the Waleses enjoy post-cancer sympathy. Unless Harry and Meghan engineer a dramatic pivot, think humanitarian work free of cameras, the silence is set to become tradition. And so we arrive at the cruelest symmetry of all. Meghan Markle, who once wielded silence as a boundary against toxic relationships, now feels its full weight from the most famous family on earth. William guards the crown, Catherine guards her peace, and Harry hovers between love and loyalty, still searching for a bridge that hasn't burned. History may one day soften the edges, but for now, the message echoes through those gilded palace halls. Sometimes the harshest word you can say is nothing at all. What do you think? If you were Harry, would you sacrifice the spotlight to win back your brother? Or is the Sussex path already too far gone? Drop your thoughts below and be sure to hit subscribe for the next chapter in this never-ending royal saga. Until then, stay curious.